Hello there. Hello. This is how I answer the phone when I'm really annoyed with having to answer the phone. I'm like, yellow, yellow. Or if I really don't want to answer the phone, I might go, Joel, annoying. That's what I do for the really annoying guys. Unlike what's his face, it was blowing up my phone. I got a call a little bit earlier. It's funny. I'm just having fun with you guys right now. Bear in mind, it's the 4th of July. We'll mention that real soon. But I got this call, and it was somebody says, it was from Pennsylvania. And the guy goes, this is the Trademark Registration Administration or something, Federal Trademark Registration, something like that. I'm like, what? Would you repeat that? Federal Trademark. I'm like, and you're calling me on the 4th of July. Right. This is after he asked for me, right. So you're calling me on the 4th of July. No. Bullshit. You gonna tell me some federal anything is working today? The 4th of July. If ever there was a federal holiday, it is the 4th of July. Now, before I go any further, let me just say, my name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show, and you are listening to TruthCat Radio, www.truthcatradio.com. It is now 6:01 p.m. It is 7/4/2024, otherwise, as we say here in America, the 4th of July, 2024. Now, I guess I should warn you that there's going to be a lot of explosions. I'm not sure. It's still light out. When it gets dark, it's going to become very, very noisy. You might even hear some of that stuff. I know you're probably hearing the air conditioner deal with it. It's 88 where I'm sitting right now. But I don't really remember how often I do shows on 4th of July, and it's because the first thing I think is it's going to be inconvenient. Usually I would be taking care of scared to shit dogs, poor Emily or Henry or whoever. Emily would be between my legs right now, huddling underneath my computer table. Anyway, well, she's not around, so I don't have to worry about that, but the cats are certainly bothered. Anyway, if you are listening here and you're in the United States, I recommend you stay indoors, bring your pets indoors, close your windows, and don't breathe the smoke because it will literally make you retarded. Just like the stuff they spray from the planes, only a lot quicker. Now, what's a good name for the show tonight? Let me think here. Well, guess what? We are going to be talking about Emma. Same thing I did last week, because if you haven't been paying attention, if you are paying attention, you know that shit is flying right now with her and her. I mean, if I've touched off a firestorm, mostly because I think I'm really fucking up her revenue stream. I guess her livelihood relies on drama anyway, so who knows? All I know is a whole bunch of people are flocking to my Twitter and what have you, and I'm guessing that a good portion of those people, you people, even maybe people listening tonight, are doing so because you kind of thought there was something fishy smelling, kind of like, something from the toilet that was coming from this Emma person, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But first, I want to look at this wonderful metaphor of 4th of July, this holiday, 4th of July. What is it all about? It's about when the United States was basically born because the certain group of people in this country, who were men, incidentally, got together and said, fuck this. We're going to go load up our muskets and we're going to shoot some fucking redcoats and we're going to get rid of this crap. Kind of like we should be doing now, a long time ago. Anyway, I'm not here to discuss why they did that, but I will remind you that it was only 3% of the population of the country. Now, sure, there was your Betsy Rosses and people, I'm sure, of her type, gender that helped a lot with filling weapons and bandaging the wounded and all that sort of thing. But for the most part, it was those men that grabbed their guns and went to war, left their families behind, left their farms behind, left their businesses, whatever it was, and they went to war. And again, it was only 3% of the entire country. They went through shit and hell, but they, thank goodness, defeated the British at Cornwall at whatever it was. But anyway, the point is that, sure, we may have lost the War of 1812 and subsequently gone back to under the Rothschild rule like we are now. But point is that we're not celebrating the victims. We're not celebrating the survivors. We're celebrating the fighters, the men who fought and died to drive the British off our land, to give us what we are celebrating today. Now, I guess, I suppose you could say the fireworks are kind of a reminder of the explosions to remind you that this is warfare. Well, I intend to sling some bombs tonight. I want to drop some Fab 3000s. That's the new Russian bomb that the Ukrainians are learning all about, on some weaklings. Now, here's the thing. I tried to make an analogy earlier today because I think a lot of people don't really understand the nature of what we're doing. It's not, things are a little bit different. This is more like coming in like a lion type of situation. But this silly Emma girl, I'll talk about her crimes and all that, she's unleashed her army of victims. Okay, now I talked all about the mind control and the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and her covert hypnosis and all that in the last show. But since this last week, I didn't even want to talk about her this week, but since this last week, I've had the unfortunate privilege of learning even more about this wench. I'm going to do my best to be gentle tonight, only because she's, an inferior enemy, and I'm supposed to pull my punches because she's weak. Don't say anything cruel to a girl. A victim girl. Really? Victim. Anyway. Well, you know what? Screw it. I'll tell you what really got me about this person. I mean, well, where do I start? Again, all right, let's start with my ego. She said she doesn't know me after spending 3 hours listening to me on Spaces on X and following me on X, and then saying that she doesn't know me. Now, I've been doing this long enough to when someone says they don't know me, and when I know they know me, there's no way. It's like, it sounds to me like Trump saying he doesn't know me, or any of these fuckers saying they don't know me. Gordon Getty says, nope, never heard of that Stephen Kelly guy. Now, seriously, do any of you out there think that Gordon Getty doesn't know who the hell I am? Seriously. Okay? I mean, I don't pay attention. I don't have a meter that gauges my penetration into people's brains, but obviously that's what we are trying to do. But so I thought, what the hell? You say something like that, it puts you right up there with the upper echelon liars. The Alex Joneses of the world. You going to tell me Alex Jones doesn't know who I am? Seriously, okay? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Now, all these motherfuckers out there that pretend like I don't exist and yet thrive and discredit and pollute and profit off of an industry that was essentially created by me. Yeah, hello. This kind of bothers me. Now, being that we're celebrating a war right now, 1776, whatever it is, Revolutionary War, I guess what better way to do that than to visit Sun Tzu and the Art of War. And one of the most common things in the Art of War is misdirection. Now, sometimes misdirection isn't important, but when applied skillfully, it can stun your opponent, catch them off guard, and can reveal a weakness. Now, this is one of the reasons why I got into it with this girl, is because I detected some major fraudulent con activity. I brought it up to Gray. He invaded the Spaces event I was doing last night. It was really incredible. I haven't dealt with such a, I don't know, insane hick, I guess you could call him. But I confronted him about the fact that Emma had an equity stake in a company that bilked investors out of $19 million and then shut its door. Now, equity stake means that when the company closed, they took the money and ran, that Emma walked away with an appropriate amount of money commensurate with her equity stake, whatever they promised her when she became part of the company, which she was hired for because of her skills at covert hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming. And before I go any further, I'm just going to say there is no good use for neuro-linguistic programming. People say, oh, but if a person is a mental, they're psycho, or they're schizo, or they're criminal or something, like, you can go in their brain and invade it and implant false memories and all this stuff and modify that person's brain so that they are less of a menace and they find happiness. Okay, again, this is invasive. It's kind of like a lobotomy. Okay? They don't do it with the patient's permission. Anyway, so there's nothing good about it. And at the very least, it's a tool to be used by the unscrupulous, such as this woman here who lies about her experience with this and what she uses it for. It's incredible. But when you get down to it, you really study the nature of this stuff, the stuff that she is using that spent apparently 15 years to study. This is the heart of MKUltra mind control, mind programming. The very worst part of what our enemy uses against weak humans, susceptible humans, so that they may be manipulated, introduced into satanic rituals, abused sexually or physically, all of those above. And unfortunately, this phenomena of satanic ritual abuse and everything down from simple family incest, molestation, up to industrialized child rape and murder like happens underneath the Getty. I want to talk about Allie Carter tonight, too. We got to really talk about her also. But anyway, the point is that this woman, if you look at her resume, she's mostly worked at gyms, and she's created many, many LLCs, limited liability corporations. Anytime she sets up a shingle somewhere, she sets up an LLC. Now, personally, I ran SK Industries for 22 years, and it was a sole proprietorship. I didn't really need to set up an LLC or a corporation, but the reason why people set up LLCs is because they're scared they're going to get sued. That's why they use an LLC, a limited liability corporation, which means that the members of the corporation have very limited liabilities, which means if the company does something wrong and gets sued, it doesn't come out of the pockets of the principals. Now, right away, when you see that, you think, somebody's protecting something for a good reason, probably. Well, she's got many LLCs. In fact, she actually denied it. She has an LLC set up for her victims advocacy business. I don't remember what it is. People come to me, they go, make me a list. That's like saying, give me the secrets of the universe. I'm going to sit here on my ass and you just hand it to me. It's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight, weak humans. But that kind of thing, pretty dirty. All right. Now I'm guessing that there weren't that many principals or equity stakeholders in this company that she was involved in. What was it called? Silver State Wellness Group. Now, of course, Silver State Wellness Group did have a very cryptic setup with different corporations above it, which all seem to have a mafia connection. So, like I've said, I've had a lot of experience watching companies do a pump and dump, which is obviously what this was, a pump and dump. But again, I asked Emma, cut out all the bullshit, stop whining about being a victim or a survivor or, whatever name, oh, they're calling me this, they're calling me that, blah, blah, blah. God, I've heard so much of it. Just tell me how much money you got from your equity stake, and don't lie. Because you know what? Even the little cuckboy, what's his name? Cuckboy, sorry. Gray, I slip and I want to be nice to you, but you're such a jerk. Anyway, Gray, last night, when I talked about this during the spaces, the guy The guy went quiet, which was amazing because he was just blah, 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 just a continuous noise coming out of his mouth. But as soon as I mentioned $19 million, he went silent. And you could see the gears spinning in his head over the airwaves. I mean, I think it's almost like he thought, wait a minute, did she really get $1 million and not tell me about it? This is what I'm thinking. Something my intuition tells me this was the first thing that went across his head. But then I thought, well, you know what? He's probably just doesn't know what the word equity means. And he's got to reboot, something like that. So who knows? Anyway, what's important here isn't so much that this person is taking advantage of people and fighting with me right now. I mean, of course, that is important for a lot of reasons. But ultimately, I want to focus on the mentality that goes into creating this taboo that revolves around saying something rude to a lady. Girls, seriously. I've been getting messages on Twitter following my thing last night. I guess they get brave and they respond to something I put out there. It happened, of course, last night. I think I'm trying to be very polite to these people, and then they just go retard on me. But one woman, she looked like, she had a picture. She looked like a gentle, nice young woman. And she started going off on the Allie Carter thing and basically trying to defend Allie Carter's having to murder children, because it was she said, she had to do it. She was under duress. She actually used that word. She said Allie Carter was under duress. She had to murder those children. She was under duress. This shocks me, of course, because I'm a father of 6, and right away I'm thinking, yeah, I have a lot of questions. We'll get to that, but the point is that and this is just one exchange. I don't know what I said to this woman. I think I used the C word on her, whatever. But then someone comes back and says, "Oh my God, that was a trauma. Let me see, a traumatized victim, a victim of trauma, or something of this nature." In other words, to suggest that how could you say that to this person who is such a damaged individual, and so susceptible to whatever? And like, oh my God. Now, if you're going to come at me, especially in a situation like this, because in battle, you don't know me in battle, I smell like a muskox and I'm dripping from my armpits and I'm ready to crush anybody that gets in front of me. Not a good time to try to look for me being polite. But anyway, what can I say? Trauma. And I'm thinking, gosh, if you're going to step into a battlefield when shells are flying, bullets are whizzing everywhere, maybe you should have a disclaimer. Maybe you should say, trauma victim, touch with care, approach with great caution, very sensitive, use extra soft ammo. I mean, seriously, come on. This is a war. We're fighting extremely evil, powerful victim. I mean, we're fighting Satan. And yet somehow we're supposed to believe that survivors, victims, people who are still under mind control, clearly they're dealing with a master hypnotist as their controller. They're clearly still mind controlled. Even that asshole Gray, I let it slip. I let out, well, I shared some of my own experiences, CIA crap, and I don't call it mind control or anything, but, just life experiences, the kind of stuff these guys make hay out of. But Gray comes back and says, you just admitted that you've been programmed. Listen, sport, we're all programmed. Everybody's programmed. You're programmed from birth, dude. You think anything is spontaneous in your life? No, you're all programmed. Fortunately, I got exposed to pot at a relatively early age, and that breaks the program. I was thinking about it. One way you really know when the program's broken is when suddenly sitting around the dinner table isn't quite so peaceful, because the kids are going, Dad, what the hell's up with this? Why are we doing this? Why is the government doing this? How could this possibly be right? Could you explain what the hell this is, this compounded interest shit? What the hell? Vaccines? Are you kidding me? What's going on? Let me tell you, when I was in junior high school and what have you, dinner time was a debate. My mom and dad hated it. But you know, if I had been programmed, I would have been talking about sports or whatever bullshit that the program people like to talk about. But no, that's where it starts. That's where how you break it. But you know, if you hand yourself over to someone who's going to use covert hypnosis on you, I mean, seriously, some of these victims, so-called victims, they're not victims. I mean, she mixes up her victims with the super soldiers. A lot of these guys are just made up imagination. Emma likes to say this thing. She says, memories are not memories, but repressed memories are real. Okay, she acts like this. Now here's the thing. I mean, sure, McMartin preschool, you're going to interview children, try to find out what happened and all that. No. If you're going to try to use hypnotism on an adult to try to discover if they were the victim of some traumatic abuse when they were 3 or 5 or whatever, some age where they would not be capable of remembering what happened, I'm sorry. I'd like to believe that it's real. I'd like to believe a lot of things, but if it's coming from a person who's known to swindle, who's known to abuse, and this love bombing crap is bullshit. Her false prayers, it's bullshit. This woman cares about one thing, and that is your money. Her handle on Twitter is the Emma-preneur. Now I know it makes my mind boggle because I don't really see how people miss this stuff. But the word entrepreneur, it means basically that she's in business of business. She's out there to make a buck. That's what an entrepreneur does. They find ways to make money. Now, she goes and says that this advocacy thing she does is nothing more than an advocacy, and that she has an actual job, and she doesn't do this advocacy all the time because she has an actual job. Now, I can't imagine, what is this actual job? I don't see it out there on the internet. It's not on her resume. The only actual job she had, other than working in gyms and being a trainer and trying to run all these screwy LLCs and 15 years of experience trying to learn how to con people using hypnosis, was the time she spent at the non-alcoholic cannabis-infused beer. What a great idea. Beer that doesn't get you drunk but gets you high. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway, yeah. That company raised $19 million and shut its doors 6 years ago. And as an equity stakeholder, she took a good chunk of that $19 million. Do the math. Now, what did she do? She says in her bio that a year later, 5 years from now, back, she discovered satanic ritual abuse. She learned about this. She even used the word conspiracies, which tells me she's fucked because we don't use the word conspiracy. That's what the enemy says. They're not fucking conspiracies, bitch. You don't call shit that's real a conspiracy. But on your bio, you say that you learned about the conspiracies. That's a tell. One thing you got to really watch for when this bitch is when she talks, she'll say two things. One of them might be true, and one of them will be falsehood. Watch the, let's see, what was it like? Like when she says, she goes, I don't know who he is, and I have never met him. That was what she said when people confronted her about how, if she knew me or not. And obviously, she knows who I am, but she followed it up with I never met him. So in her little brain, the energy she's sending out, she's ending that statement with a truth. She's never met me. So watch her. That's what she does. Anyway, I really hate to expend this time talking about her because it's more about the victims. It's more about the victims and not the survivors. Seems like a good time to talk about Allie. And again, I apologize for this buzz. It's the air conditioner. It actually needs a pad or something. It's vibrating. But here's the thing. Whoops. Get a little medical. Wow. Battery just popped on for a second. That's interesting. Brownout. All right. Good thing I have battery backup, huh? Computer would be off right now. Anyway, okay. So Allie Carter. Let's talk about her because she's a perfect example of this, and she's being held up as a hero. Just like they're saying Emma's a hero, they're taking the worst people to hold up as heroes. Now, it doesn't really matter what you say about me and what nasty things I say about Allie Carter, but the bottom line is I got her to admit, not just to me, but to other people in public, that she did kill children. She had to kill to get out. She actually has her fans saying that she had to kill. It was kill or be killed. It's okay. She's a victim. She's a survivor because she didn't die and she got out. She saved her ass at the expense of killing others. Now, she hasn't told us how many children she's killed. She hasn't told us how old these children were, how many of them were boys, how many of them were girls. She hasn't told us any details about the process of killing, what the children went through prior to being killed, how they were killed, how long did it take for them to die, and what happened afterwards. Where's all those gory details? Instead, what do we get? I was raped by Biden and Beyonce. Really? Beyonce, Biden? Yes, and P. Diddy. Oh, P. Diddy maybe. But, here's the thing. The Getty is a Nazi fortress, okay? Not everybody gets in there. Biden isn't in that gang. Neither is Clinton. All these idiots that say Clinton and Hillary raped me. No, Hillary was not under the fucking Getty, you stupid idiot. Get your shit right. Trump was. Anyway. Now, again, if these weak-ass victims are celebrating a girl that killed children, those children that are dead, those are the victims. By you saying that it's okay to kill or be killed, that makes it okay. All is forgiven. For you to say that, you just basically excused all the Nazis and Hitler and every other criminal that says they were a victim. How many fucking serial killers do we know out there that were abused as children or whatever, but they were a victim? Yeah, I guess all those 17 young girls had to die in gruesome, horrible deaths because this victim had to get his jollies off and there wasn't anybody to help him. He didn't have an Emma, like Ted Bundy or some fucker like that. Seriously. The one thing I notice about these psychopaths is that, like psychopaths, this is one of the quickest ways to notice ones. It's almost like they're holding up a mirror in front of their face, or when they're talking to you, they want to put a mirror and hang it around your neck so they can look into this mirror as they try to describe you and say the things that you're guilty of. I should go down a list. Let me see. I actually got a list of the crap that her people were saying about me. It's actually kind of humorous. Let me find it for a second here. Somebody posted it. Let me see if I can find it. I probably can't. Oh, it's probably in my notifications. Yeah, let me look at notifications. Yeah, it's been a pretty busy day. We've been going up. Is it in there? Gotta be. There's so much stuff that's piling up. And I'll give up. Anyway, I guess let me just say that the one thing that really got my attention was they said I was an embezzler. An embezzler. I mean, see, it's called projection when they accuse you of things that they do. Who was it? That was the famous Nazi. You know who I'm talking about. Himmler, not Himmler. Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels, who said, accuse your enemies of that of which you are doing. so obviously. Now, again, like I said, if this wasn't hurting her pocketbook, if this wasn't hurting her revenue stream, which is what this is, she wouldn't be freaking out. Because, if it wasn't revenue, then what is it? Ego? And now, if you're in a battle like this, obviously you got to shed your ego a long time ago. I mean, seriously. It doesn't get you too far. Wow, this sounds really weird. Let me see if I can fix this. I just noticed some of my settings on my mixer was really off. Anyway, pardon me just a second. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, okay, like I said, revenue stream. Yeah, it's just insane. It's just insane. I mean, seriously, it's like you got to have a thick skin in this business. I mean, I'm fighting billionaires, and I'll tell you, Getty. This is really a good lesson for all of you to really pay attention to. It's like I said earlier. You don't think Gordon Getty, with all his billions of dollars, I know he's 90 years old now, but you don't think he knows. You don't think his children know. You don't think his foundation knows. I mean, obviously the foundation knows. You guys call him every day and ask him about me. The FBI, et cetera, et cetera. The point is they know better than to say my name. They know better than to go toe-to-toe with me. They know better than to say that I'm wrong or I'm this or I'm that or anything. They know better. Gordon Getty is not an idiot. He'd rather hurry up and get Gavin Newsom elected president and bring World War III on us than talk about me, because he knows I'm going to destroy his fucking ass because he can't say anything. So when you look at these idiots, Emma or whoever, the first thing you notice is that the very fact that they're even mentioning my name is because they're fucking stupid. I mean, seriously, listen, idiots. There's no such thing as bad publicity. It doesn't matter what you say. The truth is evident, and it doesn't matter. You're an angry old man. You're bitter. You're this or that, or you're rude. You're evil. No, I'm not evil, but I am angry. I am bitter, and I am certainly old enough to not give a fuck about any bullshit from anybody. Come on, I've been in this business for over 20 years, taking shit from a lot tougher people, a lot smarter people, and a lot of people with a lot more money than you. You're nothing. If anything, I will give you props or I will give you thanks for giving me something to be pissed off about, because, it serves the mission for me to be angry. It serves the mission for me to be tearing you a new asshole. It serves the mission to be destroying you. Because before this, I was ignoring you. Even though people were telling me about you and pointing me at you and saying, hey, this is a fraud, this is that, mind control, yada, yada, I still don't listen to everything. People are trying to say that Gray is somehow related to somebody that's related to Kathy O'Brien, yada, yada. I don't need to know all this shit. This is minutia. I don't need to dwell on the minutia because I have a mission. And that is Occupy the Getty, which is an actual action word, not like I care or whatever the hell it is that you do. I mean, I've seen you, like Emma, you reached out to Ryan Garcia. I just want you to know that I care and I love you and we're here. Check your DMs. Really, bitch? You think Ryan Garcia needs you? I mean, my God, you're a parasite. You're like one of these bitches that chases after your lawyer, or what is it? Ambulance. You're like an ambulance chaser. You are such an incredible parasite. But I'm doing such good. What? What are you doing good? You claim to have the largest collection of victims. You actually make this claim as if you have equity in the lives and testimony of all these people, and they can't say anything. You act like you think you're their fucking manager, and if they're going to deal with the press and deal with anybody, like me, that they have to go through you, bitch. What are you afraid of, bitch? Who do you work for, bitch? It's just like this fucking Gray asshole who says he's still under, mind control, whatever, MK Ultra. As far as I'm concerned, you're all still working for the fucking enemy. You call me a Fed, but then again, I'm the one living in poverty here. You're the one chasing a buck, entrepreneur. Your fucking name suggests that you're chasing a buck. That's all you're doing. If you weren't chasing a buck, you wouldn't have all these LLCs. That's not cheap. Come on. Anyway, she says she's got a job. Prove it. I really don't care anymore. I don't care about you. I certainly, these victims, the best you got is you're going to trot out a bunch of brain damaged, trauma damaged, sexually abused, whatever people. And this is the best you got. Those are your soldiers. This is how we're going to win this war, by trotting out a bunch of victims of sexual abuse. Seriously. Are you fucking kidding? Are you fucking stupid? Obviously, you're stupid, but unfortunately, we're not here for lurid tales of sexual abuse. We're here to destroy an enemy, the people doing it, not the victims. We're not here to fucking dwell on the victims. In fact, when we're fighting and we're going down the halls and we're having to take out the enemy, do you think we stop at every fucking door to rescue the victims along the way? No, we don't. You can't do that. You're on the fucking front lines of the battle. You don't stop to help the guy that just got his fucking head blown off. You move forward. Now, this is no place for women, and this is no place for victims. And the last thing you fucking do is throw some traumatized, sexually abused woman in front of me when I'm fucking in the middle of battle and say I was mean to her. My God, you are so fucking pathetic. The very fact that you even depend on these vulnerable victims for money. You know, first thing I do when a victim comes to me is I don't publicize their fucking name. Okay? It's not about them. Their testimony only serves to help me. For instance, Allie Carter, where's the fucking entrance? Show me the door. Show me the fucking door. Show me where you went down. Make me a map. Tell me how many children you killed. How long were you down there? What did you eat when you were down there? Did you sleep? How many times did you have to kill these children? Did you ever go back and do it again? You know, I don't care about the trauma. I want the fucking truth. And I want justice for the victims of the children that she killed. I don't care about the fact that she is a survivor. She's not a fucking victim. She's a material fucking witness, and she is a murderer of children. People that have love of God do not kill others to save their own skin. You slimy bitch. Anyway, people call that a Getty update. Well, that's a Getty update, okay? We're at war. Okay, there's, you know, I think about the Russians, I think about the Ukrainians. You know, do you realize the savagery of the war going on? They say that the Russians are taking losses of 1 to every 5 Ukrainians. Well, okay, let's do the math. The Ukrainians are losing like 1,700 people a day. That adds up to a lot of dead Russians, too. You know, you think these people aren't extremely pissed? And here you are talking about bullshit when we're in the middle of fucking World War III, and you're talking about pity the little girls whose daddy did this or somebody did this. Come on. It's bullshit. My God, trauma wards. Fill your trauma wards and deal with it. Don't make it fucking public. You've got no fucking morals. You've got no fucking integrity. And making this shit public is not helping anybody. You want to make something public? Make the fucking Getty public. You're too stupid to know where the fucking answer is. You're too stupid to know where the target is. You guys are too fucking disconnected and too busy about worrying about chasing your fucking dollars. Don't you realize that when we end this fucking bullshit, that your money is going to be worthless? Your equity is going to be worthless. There will be no speculation. It will be a whole new world, and people like you will not fit in very well, because the last thing we need is mind control fucking MK Ultra programmers. Disgusting people like Gray who like to harass people and then claim that they're being harassed. What's his big line? There's a big quote that I love right now that I pulled off of one of his interviews with David Schroeder. Don't even know if I like this guy, but he pulled off his interview. What does he say? It's so good. It's here it is. He says, and this is him talking to David Schroeder. And of course, I've got the frame where he says it. It's funny. It looks like a madman hick on crack. But he says, "Tell me I'm not a real survivor and my girl's not doing real things." Well, a real survivor. What the fuck is this survivor thing you talk about? Define survivor. First of all, if you went through some MK Ultra programming like Allie, how do we know how much dirty shit you've been doing, you fucking pig? Seriously. You claim to be a fucking hitman and a barrier of bodies and all this bullshit, an executioner. You know, that doesn't sound like a good person. He calls himself gray because he bounces between the black and the white. You know, sounds pretty dirty to me, but he's a survivor. That means we must have pity on him and treat him like he's special. He's a real survivor, not a fake, not a fraud, not somebody who made it up and concocted it out of some planted fake memories, NLP memories. And he says, my girls not doing real things. Tell me, again, here's this double negative thing, this bullshit speak. Tell me I'm not a real survivor and my girlfriend's not doing. No, you're not. Your voice, your words betray you. You're not doing real things. And if she is doing anything, it's taking advantage of vulnerable people and turning it into a revenue stream for herself and trying to pass herself off as some kind of a pity hero. A pity hero. I have so much love for these victims. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. You know, I really, what are these real things? I really don't know what the hell it is that you think you've accomplished or changed in this world because of your business. Anyway, I didn't really want to talk about them because I know so many of you that you'd rather hear about important stuff, but again, the victims under the Getty, the 100,000 children that are under the Getty. I talk about numbers like an elite pedophile consuming 5,000 children in their lifetime. Consumed. That's not a survivor. That's a real victim. Consumed. That means dead, gone, eaten, turned into mush, fed to dogs, that kind of a thing. Those are the victims. Not the ones that are going into these programs and being interviewed and trying to turn themselves into some special club of celebrity survivors. Oh my God. What is it? You all want to be Kathy O'Brien, the poor girl? Poor girl? All you got to do is look in her eyes to see that she's still a victim. She's still under control. And why? Because of people like you. So yeah, our job is to call these scum out. Seriously, it's to call them out. We don't need to kill them. I don't need to lynch these people. I don't need to do that. But, you know, we can take away their income. We can take away their shield. We can take away their false pretenses. We can take away their image. We can show what they really are. Like I said earlier, this Emma Pizzarak, or whatever the hell her name is some Polish name that I can understand why she calls herself Emma Catherine, because that other name's not too pretty. But, you know, bottom line, bitch, how much money did you make from the con job that you were involved in for several years? Okay, I think that's like 4 or 5 years on your resume. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what your equity stake was worth? I mean, come on, it says right there they collected $19 million of investment and told the investors they plan to make $1.2 billion. That's a big clue. And she goes, oh, it just didn't work. The beer didn't sell. Yeah, non-alcoholic pot beer. No kidding. Gee, I wonder why. How about alcoholic pot beer? That would have been good. No. Anyway, just another con job. Just another pump and dump. Well, this is a con job, people. What she's doing with these people, this is a con job. No different than when Stu Peters did his first interview with Allie Carter. That was a con job. Now, I did see Stu Peters today interviewing some survivors of the Liberty, the ship that was attacked by Israel way back several years ago. I was impressed by that. I thought, wow, Stu Peters, you got those guys? I don't even know there was anybody left, but he had one of the survivors on, and kudos to you. I don't really particularly respect and like you, but that you did good work there. Bravo. You know, I'll go there. Anyway, what else do I want to tell you? Allie Carter, well, again, if she's going to try to tell people that it's okay to kill if you can save your own ass, because if you can save your own ass, you're going to be celebrated as a hero. Way to save your own ass, girl. You know, here's the picture. Allie Carter was never a victim. Okay, sure, she was molested and all this other stuff, but her victimhood started a long time ago. When she was 15 years old and she actually went down under the Getty, she says, "Oh yeah, I was high on some drugs. Everything was all happy. It looked like." She describes it as saying that the way she was taken underground with her friend, with her whoever, that it was for her. It to everyone else, it looked like it was a damn school field trip. She felt, haha, I looked just like some kid on a field trip, haha, like all these other kids. Only that she was going underground to kill others. I mean, it was almost like it was scripted. She was given the job to go down there and kill. We don't know, but she was happy to go down there. She describes it as being a fun experience. She didn't fight. She didn't get dragged down underground, kicking and screaming. It was a happy experience for her. It was like it's going on a field trip. It's still a happy experience for her. All right. How about some justice, people? It's just like these people that claim to have been molested. This one woman says, "Oh, I was molested." I'm like, "Well, why don't you call the cops?" She says, "It happened when I was 3." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, well, I guess I can understand why the cops wouldn't want to do anything. Probably because it's, hypnotically pulled out memories." Can you imagine? "Daddy, the hypnotist told me you raped me." Good job, hypnotist. Anyway. So you really got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt, because first of all, I'm not saying that these people aren't being abused. What I am saying is anything less than Occupy the Getty is not going to do anything. That's all bullshit. Only Occupy the Getty is going to make this stop. Now, sure, there's going to be some sick parents that are going to do some sick things, but the powers that we're going to need to deal with stuff like that, well, that's under the Getty too. That's really all I can tell you. I'm surprised we don't have a whole bunch of bang bang going off right now. I guess it's still too light outside, but just watch. As soon as I end the show, it's just going to be going crazy. All right, what do I else want to tell you? Okay, the money thing. Okay, they accused me of being, was it embezzler? What she said? She said I'm satanic. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm Luciferian. That's another good one. What else? I noticed one thing that she likes to do. It's like she was talking about super soldiers, and she said that these guys were all involved in some sort of incest stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, really? You're gonna go there? Holy shit! That's just nutty. But I guess if there's no perverted sex involved, nobody's going to listen to it, perhaps, huh? I mean, that's really all this shit is. All right. So I guess the real lesson here is that that stuff really does not belong in public. I think that if you're fascinated by stories of lurid taboo sex, incest and child abuse and this thing, that you're probably kind of sick. I personally don't. That's like looking at pictures of people torturing cats. I don't need that shit in my head. Okay? And I'll tell you, here's the real bottom line of all this stuff, is that I'm in this business, I'm in this mission for vengeance. I'm angry. Very angry. I'm bitter. I'm bitter about what's been done to me and what is continuing to be done to everybody and the rest of the world. I'm angry. I want it to stop. I want vengeance. I want the extreme vengeance carried out upon my enemy, which are the people responsible for doing this shit to the world. I don't just want to punish one or two people. I want to destroy the entire fucking evil satanic control system on earth. And guess what? I get to do that, and I actually get to, not have to worry about anybody trying to kill me in the process. Gray, I was trying to give you an easy fucking clue that if you don't stop fucking with me, it's not going to be pretty. Anyway, bottom line, I don't need to tell you guys I'm a victim of this or that. Whatever, suffice it to say, I want fucking vengeance. Okay? I don't need to list all the negative things that happened to me and why I'm angry. Apparently you guys think pity is the best way to cure this sort of thing, but no, Vengeance is the way to cure this thing. And you don't get vengeance by forming pity parties over the victims. You get it by attacking the enemy in the best place you can find, and that is the fucking Getty. The Getty is the weak spot. It is the heart of the enemy, and that is our target. Not coddling victims. We're going to stop this shit forever. We're going to save 100,000 people, not the handful of victims that you guys are making a big deal out of. I don't need you to be throwing little fucking weak-ass victims in my way when I am trying to destroy the greatest enemy on Earth, which is not scattered all over the surface. It's under fucking ground. And I don't care if you think there's victims in every fucking bunker. Of course there are. The only bunker that matters to me is the Getty, because that's the one where we need to be to defeat the entire fucking enemy all at once. Okay? I am a fucking general, and I don't need to take any advice from any fucking soldier because we're in the damn battle right now. Shells are flying. You should all be on the fucking front line fighting with everything you got. Okay? This is a battle against Satan, and you need to have it. You need to have that priority firmly affixed in your brain so you understand that if we don't do this, you all die. Okay? So instead of beating off the victim stories, why don't you focus on taking out the fucking perps? And we'll start with Under the Getty. All right, everybody. I'm really over it. I'm going to say happy 4th of July to all you Americans, and to you people in the UK, or Britain, I should say. Congratulations on throwing out Rishi Sunak. And to people in France, congratulations on bringing in Marie Le Pen. And let's see what else. Condolences to, I know I need to offer some condolences to some countries, but I can't remember what all happened. But Ukrainians, you guys are fucked. Give it up. And if you don't think Biden is going to go lame duck and start trying to throw us into World War III before he could get out. Oh, here's a good example of psychopath projection. Gavin Newsom says he's supporting fucking Biden. He's the one that's going to take Biden's place, but he's acting like he's Biden's biggest supporter right now. It's kind of like these psychos in this, imagination broadcast, whatever. I mean, come on, imagination. Seriously, you're talking about mind control and mental programming, and you're going to name your show Imagination? I mean, oh my God, it's like the Illuminati. They got to throw it all in front of your face, and you don't pay attention. Anyway. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening, and you need to, of course, join my group on Telegram, and welcome to all the new people that joined, at least 500 people in the last day or two. Thank you so much. And to the several hundred people or so that joined me on Twitter also, thank you very much. And you guys all want to know what you can do and how you can help. The first thing you do is become an expert at the mission and bring in more people, because this is all about word of mouth, grassroots, and telling everybody what we're doing, because that's the only way this is going to happen. So when idiots like Gray come along and say, they don't have a plan, again, that's more projection. Occupy the Getty is the plan. What's the plan? Occupy the Getty. How do we do it? We occupy the fucking Getty. All right? That's 3 words, easy to spell. Okay, it's like cat and dog. Even the dimmest person should be able to understand when I say occupy the Getty. Those are your marching orders. Okay? So with that, I'm going to let you go. But before I do, I'm going to remind you, if you do want to help out, and again, I'm not doing this for the money. I do live in a ghetto. That's why we have the booms outside. But if you do want to help out, use my PayPal. And the PayPal is StephenKelly714@yahoo.com. And you have to say friend or family, because unlike Emma, I am not a business to take money. I don't pay taxes on this stuff. So it's got to be a gift, an actual gift. Otherwise, they're going to send it back. I'm not an entrepreneur, Emmapreneur. No, I'm not. I'm an actual advocate. I'm an actual fighter. I'm not a survivor victim. I'm a fucking warrior, and I'm out to destroy this shit, not get rich off of it. Okay? Anyway, so with that, I'll remind you once again, you are listening to Truth Cat Radio, the one and only, and my name is Stephen D. Kelly. And if you don't like what I say, Google me or email me at law17gun@AOL.com. And by the way, my book is free. Again, good example. I'm not trying to make any money, bitches, all right? I'm just trying to educate. So that's part of my plan, too, educate. All right? Okay. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me just see how many people we got with us right here real quick. Not bad. All right, we could do better, but then it is a holiday, so I understand. All right, you guys. I'll see you in the Telegram group. I'll see you in Twitter. And yeah, this is 24/7, guys. Okay, I'm serious. 24/7, nighttime also. I'll talk to y'all real soon. Okay, love y'all. Good night. God bless. Adios and goodbye.